This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast, where business leaders share their insights. It is 6 questions in 7 minutes because successful business leaders are busy and rarely have more time to spare. So let's get to it. Question number 1. In a few sentences, please tell me who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Richard Luftig. I'm a managing partner at Castle Placement, and we raise capital for companies.
Richard, it's great to have you on the show. Question number 2. What is something that makes you smile and or laugh about working in your industry?
Well, I'd say many of our clients really have no idea just how difficult it is to raise capital.
Mhm.
So the difference between their expectation and the reality does sometimes make me laugh, or maybe sometimes it makes me cry. But once they go through the process and we explain to them all the steps, they eventually get it.
I love that. That's a great story. Question number 3. I have a fictitious book with all the answers for business. What chapter would you think most companies should read?
Hmm. How about when should you raise capital?
Hmm.
Because I think that a lot of people don't really get that.
Mhm.
To me, the answer is when the pre-money valuation of your company is perceived to be very high by the marketplace. Sometimes we ask people if they want to raise capital and they say no. It's almost never the appropriate answer. It's really a question of timing and the pricing of that capital, in my opinion.
Mhm. And that's why they would want to use an expert like yourself who understands that the right timing, correct?
Well, I don't know if I would go that far, but I think we do help our clients out a great deal.
Don't sell yourself short. Question number 4. Other than the generic work harder, have a great attitude, and care for customers, what advice or insight would you give to other business leaders?
Boy, that's a tough question. I think I would say execute.
Mm.
So much time and resources is spent on marketing and trying to position the company and trying to create a story around the company and a perception. But to us, that is a 1% driver for success. 99% driver for success is for the company to actually execute on its business plan. And that requires all those other things that you just mentioned: hard work and discipline and organization and corporate culture.
Hmm. So the execution is actually getting those things done. Am I understanding you correctly?
Yeah, I mean, the execution is having a strategy, clearly defined goals, and then executing. It sounds so trite, but it's amazing to me how many CEOs actually don't get that done.
And that's very insightful because it's really business 101 almost what you're talking about. And it's amazing that so many people, so many business people, business leaders aren't following the normal blocking and tackling that's required to have a successful business.
Sure, they're often spending more of their time putting out fires and dealing with other matters and not setting clear goals and then executing on those goals. No question.
And very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. Question number 5. What other business leader like yourself would you like to acknowledge and invite to be on my podcast?
Hmm. Well, we have a great client named Andrea Wilson. She's the CEO of Cancer University. And because of her personal story and the great company that she's built, I think she's an absolutely fascinating person. So you would be lucky to have her, in my opinion.
Thank you for that referral. I know Andrea, so that's a great suggestion. Question number 6. Please tell me about your first job.
My first job was, interestingly, at a boutique investment bank. So many decades ago, but very, very similar to uh, Castle Placement. And that turned out to be a blessing because I got to be involved in many large, interesting transactions and really got to learn the business, which I don't think I would have at that early age if I had worked for a gigantic institution. Then I went on to work for many, many years at large institutions like Credit Suisse and Bear Stearns. But I'm glad I had that first job.
Yeah, so it's interesting, even in the finance world, because as you were describing that, I was imagining my first jobs and what I learned that I was able to take to my more professional jobs, and it sounds like the same thing for you.
Yep.
That's awesome. So, Richard, thank you so much for being on the show. How can people find you?
Well, I have a LinkedIn account, and you can always direct message me there, or you can go to castleplacement.com and find out an enormous amount of information about our company and our process and our transactions and track record.
Perfect. This is Professor Pete Alexander with the Winning at Business and Life podcast. Thanks for listening.